come and catch the vibe. Welcome to Easy Weekend.
It's Easy Weekends.
Cats can't see me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the sit down. We're back at it again. This is gonna be a special one. I have the person behind Protect Your Heart. Uncutt is in the building. You've seen this everywhere. You've seen it. I know you've seen it because I've seen it. Now, here's the person behind it. Uncutt, talk to me. How, where, and why?
How, where, and why? All right, here's this, right? The first thing I want to clear with everything is protect your heart. The whole concept came from like a whole spiritual journey that I and everybody else is currently on. And I just felt like I caught a wind of that like way before, like about 15, 20 years ago. And I wanted to kind of like put people on to what needed to happen. And I was deep in the industry around the time when this came up. And if you remember 15, 20 years ago, the industry wasn't as, I would say, lovey-dovey, as giving,
Definitely wasn't.
As giving, as open, to concepts and ideas of growth and camaraderie and all that dope shit. Everybody was cutthroat. It was a lot of shit happening where people had no heart. It was just kind of weird. And I was just coming into this heart version of me where I started really like getting into knowing myself more and understanding my energy more and understanding what energy was and protecting that energy, especially in the industry that we was in. So that concept came from just me wanting to come up with something that was needed for me to translate this energy thing to everybody. And one day I sat there and then I was drawing a heart, which was the upside down heart with the spike. And I was like, yo, this heart look protected. I was like, I wish I protect your heart. And that was it. That's all. And then when I said it and it just rung so loud, I was like, yo, this is a bridge. And it sounded like a bridge. And the aspect of a bridge is like frequency and creating words that creates dope shit. And this is a bridge that brings people back to themselves. So that was the basis of that whole concept. So I went out and started putting it in the streets.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I stopped doing what I was doing. I stopped clubbing. I stopped, I had a studio at that moment. I shut down the studio. I shut down everything. It was like, yo, forget everything. Forget the industry. Forget all that. We need to just go back into ourselves. And that was the goal.
So you've been around the world with this.
Yeah. If you see it, I've done it. Ain't nobody else have ever touched my stencil. If you see it, I've been there. And Spirit put me there to put it for whoever's finding it, because I get these emails of, yo, I was about to commit suicide. I get those emails.
What?
I get those emails. I was about to commit suicide and I ran into your art and that shit just opened me up. I was feeling bad, or I just broke up, or I just was in the baddest, weirdest mood, and this shit gave me inspiration. This shit gave me life. And that's why I never stopped. Because it was like, shit, this shit has a purpose. It's doing way more than I can ever expect it to do for people that I don't even know, that I may never meet. You know what I'm saying? And it was just out there doing the work. And everywhere I put it, it did something for somebody.
How old were you when you sold your first piece of art?
Oh, shit, 2014. When I first started, I sold my first piece of art was, what, $150? $150.
But as a creative, you're not doing it for the money.
No, I mean, I'm a smart individual. I don't do it for the money, but I am very aware of how people treat money and how people value certain things when it comes to money. So I hold myself in a certain value when it comes to, like, you can't just get me to come out and do just anything without you having some type of value. Like, and it ain't money. Value has a lot to do with heart. Like, a person that got money can't get me to do something that somebody who don't have money but have heart in a dope project can. Got you. So I use my things wisely. But the whole aspect is putting the art out there for the people. But of course, you need money to do that, because everything I do is cost. Paint cost.
Yeah, definitely.
Traveling cost.
What's the most surprising place you've seen your art where you're like, damn, I didn't know that shit got here?
It's funny. I see my art and motherfucking can I curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
I see my art in live.
NBA.
NBA Live. Somebody sent me a picture. Yo, your artist in live. I'm like, what the fuck? Can I get a check for this shit?
Hold on. Isn't that can't you get money for that?
I don't even know. Because the shit is this, right? You put the art in the street, it's not really yours anymore. Technically, you gifting the street to art. So anybody that capture it in the essence of the street, you kind of have a thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I do shit illegally. So how? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be like, no, you can't know who's doing this shit, but give me the check. So that was, and it's still there.
That's
It's
crazy.
still there. It's like it's at the beginning intro of like the New York City scene, and they're showing all the New York City, and on the wall they got my Michael Jackson, and that's when I first started. I first started putting out Michael Jackson art on the streets because, like, I had this kind of I have this kind of art that's hella strange. You got to look into it. You got to see different things and shit. And I wanted to introduce it to the world before Protect Your Heart. And Michael Jackson was like an image that was so prominent, hit the baby picture. So I took that picture, and then I did it in my art, and then I made them in little hearts, and I had them all over the city, and that shit made a frenzy because I just was like, that was my first coming out. I was like, yo, how can I get the attention of the people that I work with, like yourselves, for example, the people in the radio, the people in the films, the people that I used to work with, to pay me attention because they wasn't respecting me as an artist. Because my past is very extensive.
Do you care to?
For the art.
Do you want to delve into that at all?
Yeah, let's do that. Bro.
Okay, talk to me about life before art.
All right, so here's Uncut for you guys, right? I actually started out with the Lost Boys when Lost Boys, and I was in this group named Quasar, who the producer is Kula Rula, who's actually was the producer of the whole entire first Lost Boys album.
Oh wow!
So Kula Rula is like my brother. So we had this group named Quasar, and we had got signed to Universal. Right?
Okay.
So there's a lot of DL stuff that I don't really speak about. So during that time, I was more into videos, more into creating the visuals for the groups and everybody around me. And of course, I was a Lost Boy and was running with all that stuff. And I ended up coming out of school and got a job as a casting director.
Wow.
And that right there took my whole career left because I went from just wanting to do videos to actually being in charge of
who's in the videos.
Yeah, and at that time when I was doing casting, there was no Instagram. There was none of those places where you could find these girls. And I had a Rolodex like Instagram. So in a way, you can ask anybody in the world. I was like a gatekeeper of, like, if you wanted a fly girl in your video, it was only 3 people in New York that you can actually go to, and I was one of them. If you wanted to be in a video in New York, it was probably 2 people that you can go to that can actually say, hey, okay, cool, we'll let you in, and I was one of them. Because as a casting director, I worked for one of the biggest casting agents in New York that did all the videos and all the projects. So I was heavy with all the directors and all the actors and all the artists because I was a casting director. So I was the one. It was ill too because that was the era where all the rappers wanted to be actors and all the actors wanted to be rappers. Yeah. So I was in the middle of that shit because people was like, yo, I got a movie idea. You know what I'm saying? So that was the rappers. And then the actors was like, yo, can you get me in touch with this guy? Because, you know, that's what, because Belly was the first movie I ever worked on. So just for like for the record. So like, yeah. So it's like everybody on Belly, on up, went on doing different things. And I kind of worked on a lot of these projects. And then from there, I went on to doing other things. It's weird because from doing casting, I ended up, I was doing sneakers. It was weird shit, right? Because I was designing, customizing my own shit on set. Because, you know, artists are fly people, and they come through with expensive shit. And I'm a casting director. I can't afford the expensive shit, but I could create some dope shit. So I started doing sneakers to kind of like keep up with their flyness.
Yeah.
They looking at my shit like, yo, who did that? Who did that? And that's when I kind of knew that I had something else. So I kind of started shifting from casting into doing sneakers for a lot of celebrities. And I think the first celebrity I did sneakers for was like Joe, the singer. He was on tour. I did like 7 pair of kicks. And he gave me the hope that, oh shit, this is a thing. Like, you could do sneakers for celebrities and they'll pay you $150 per sneaker to
Mhm.
design them to match their outfits because they didn't have nothing to match their outfits. So it's kind of dope. So I went from doing sneakers to getting a sneaker deal. And all this shit was on the low because like I was one of them little kids that was running around the industry just doing shit. You know what I'm saying? But nothing was like there was no films, you know what I'm saying? Niggas wasn't documenting all this shit.
Mhm.
So I got a sneaker deal and I ended up getting sneakers in every store. Like I had sneakers in Dr. J's and Jimmy Jazz. It was called Tough City. And those was like the Nike versions of like there was the Air Force One sold. I was the first person that did like the ill designs and the ill glitter shit on sneakers before niggas even knew about customizing sneakers. So they ended up giving me a deal off of that.
Damn.
So that shit went through, and I mean that was a whole era. I kind of like left that deal because it was just like a really sour situation because I ain't know shit about clothing, and from clothing, we went straight to art. We went straight to we went straight to art. We went straight to actually a big gap in the industry where I had to disappear, and that's where that whole knowledge of self and that whole love of self and that whole understanding that your body is just a vessel and you're the energy inside your body and you move in a different way. And I started understanding a lot about energy. And then I wanted to put that into an art form. And that's where I was like, shit, should I write a movie about this shit?
Mm.
Because my journey was ill. I ended up leaving the industry because I got into this whole dark era. I know we all probably been through it where we just want to fucking like disappear. And I actually damn near attempted suicide type shit, you know what I'm saying? And that shit was so dark that I had to get out. And somebody suggested that I take up meditation because I was so reckless at that time. And it was because, I'm going to tell you, it was because I skipped a big part. Like the sneaker deal that I had, I gave my all to that deal. And the people that I was working with, they was taking it all. They were taking about 70% of the profit and allocating it to another company and just really just giving me 30%. And
Damn.
me as a designer that didn't know, a new kid on the block, I didn't know I was supposed to get paid for sales and design and everything. They were just giving me one check, and I didn't understand that process. So
They took advantage of you.
Yeah, they did. So I kind of felt some type of way. I was like, damn, I gave my all, and I felt in a dark space. And then when I felt in that dark space, to get out of it was meditation. And I ended up learning how to meditate. It took me about 2 years to get it, but when I got it, I came out with some dope shit. And that's where Protect Your Heart and all that shit was birthed for me, just learning more about myself and wanting to introduce people to that concept, because shit ain't nothing better than loving yourself, my nigga. Like it's nothing better than like being able to just say, yo, I control my heartbeat, and I control my lungs, and I own my body. Like that's some ill shit, and people don't own their body. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even talk to their body, don't even get the time to spend time with their own self, because some people scared of the thoughts that come through, you know. So I wanted to introduce people to that concept of mindfulness, of being peaceful with yourself, because I know that's the way that it'll allow all of us to be able to do what we do peacefully without people thinking that somebody's hating on them. Somebody's always hating on somebody, or just, you know, or just way people do business. You know, business is like you gotta take advantage of somebody. It don't have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? It could be where everybody always end up on top. So Protect Your Heart is like where we at right now, because all of that shit that I've been through in the industry showed me that we are missing that self-love so drastically that a lot of people are fucking committing suicide off this shit. I lost
crazy.
A lot of people off not even fully understand that the shit around you don't make you move, and you shouldn't allow it to. You know, so it's just teaching people mindfulness. And yeah, that was a lot of talk, but that's a little.
No, I appreciate all that. What you mean?
Story right there.
Why do you cover your face?
One reason, I'm a vandal. So I walk in your building, I'm liable to do some shit. So I'm better off walking in mask in, because I'm coming in mask out. That's one. So I might as well come in, because I used to walk into places and then my face all over the place. And then after that, I'm like, damn, that's a nice wall. And I'm like, fuck, I can't do shit. Niggas done see my face already. So I'm like, you know what? That's not happening. But I used to be able to be free out there in the streets and just be. There's times when I'm just, nobody knows who I am, where my face is all out. But there's places where I can't even walk around because people just be spotting you. Like, yo, are you that guy? I'm like, no, I'm not the guy. I don't know who that is. Always say no. I'm like, no. Like, why y'all approaching me for? I don't know who that person is. But another thing is, when I found out about the facial recognition shit, I kind of got taken back a little bit. You know, like when they was doing all that doggy face and all that smiley face and all that tongue shit on IG.
The
They
filters and
started
shit.
out with filters. When they started out with the filters, they started out with the grid. I don't know if you guys remember. They had that whole square shit, right? And I work in films, and I seen special effects in films, and I remember 10 years or 20 years prior to this when they was talking about special effects and making faces and making different special effects things. They was using this technology of scanning your whole face in order for them to know your whole facial shit. And I seen that grid. I was like, oh shit. I was like, yo, that's the same shit that they do on the television. I was like, no, get your face away from all cameras because they gridding your shit. So now there's a reason why they want to take your face. So I'm just like, damn, these people got some whole another technology shit where they're able to take your image and your likeness. They're able to take your voice. They're able to take your whole likeness and then put it on a digital version of AI version. You know, so that's what's coming in the future. You might be transitioned where you dead per se. You know, but your whole aura exists online. You know, your face, your
That's crazy.
mannerism, because they done copy this shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I see for the future. I'm like, these niggas ain't getting me. And then on top of it, last and not least, is like when it comes to protect your heart, it's a self journey, right? It's a thing where I want people to have that personal shit with the art, and people have this tendency to want to blame people and thank people. Oh my God, thank you for doing this for me. I didn't do nothing for nobody. I'm doing it for the purpose of for spirit, right? And you finding it is for the purpose of you. So sometimes I want people to sit with that shit with themselves, because the minute they leave themselves and want to thank other people, oh my God, Uncut, thank you, they lose that whole essence of why I'm bringing them inside to thank themselves, to appreciate themselves more. So leaving myself out of it, because that's why, like, for the first 5 years, nobody knew who the fuck was doing this shit. It was just in the streets. Nobody couldn't put a name or face. I seen so many different descriptions of what people thought I was, and I was okay with it, even though my friends was like, yo, come on and tell people you're doing it, because Madonna's posting it, and J-Lo's posting it, and so many celebrities is posting it. So people like, yeah, come on and tell them, so that way they could post you. I'm like, I'm not doing it for them niggas. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care who posted. They ain't posting it for me. They're not like, every time somebody posts shit, nobody say, oh my God, for Uncut. They posted for them. They posted because they feel like they were touched by this art and they want to share it with somebody. And I wanted to keep it at that. So I took myself out of the picture. And now I'm kind of in the picture. So it's like, okay, Un is doing this shit. And then on top of it, my whole Haitian community don't even know that, like, a Haitian person like myself is literally leading such a beautiful movement of self-love that is literally, like, it's changed so many lives. Like, some kid told me the other day that he grew up on my art. I'm like, nigga, I've been doing this shit for like only like since 2014. It ain't been like 2014 is not that long.
9 years.
Yeah, but then he was like, yeah, I went to high school for 4 years and I went to college for 4 years. That's my life. I'm like, damn, like, how many people feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't think that. I didn't think people would just, like, I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here breathing and living. You know what I'm saying? People talking about they grew up on my shit. I'm still here doing, I got more to come, So I'm just honored to be in this position. And then now I'm doing a lot of these interviews. I'm just honored to be able to express this to people, because a lot of people don't fully know this to the T. They just see it, but they express it. They work with it. They post it. But it's a movement, man. And the movement is to make this shit a national holiday. The movement is to acknowledge your heart, acknowledge yourself, acknowledge your breath. The movement is to acknowledge each other, like we all one, and that shit is coming. It's not like I'm preaching some shit that we all don't fucking know. This thing that makes sense 20 years ago to a lot of people that it makes sense to now. So I'm just one of the people that's leading that shit. One of the people. There's shitload of us. Everybody got their own way of expressing this idea of self-love to people. And protect your heart is one of them.
This was amazing. I enjoy talking to you. I learned. I mean, I knew Haitians were amazing, anyways, because I'm Haitian. But this is.
Haitians are amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yo, there's a lot of things about Haitians that people don't know. First of all, Haitians started, right? Damn, man. How can I express this shit, man? Like, January 1st is what?
Haitian Independence Day.
Okay, so now they made January 1st New Year's, right? And it ain't even the real New Year's, right? The real New Year's is we're just now coming into the real New Year's, right? So already, that's a cover-up, right? So they're covering something up.
Mm-hmm.
So January 1st is really Haitian Independence Day, which is Black Independence Day. Because it ain't just Haitian, because we freed we set off the entire shit that we living in right now. So for us to set it off, it's not like this is a Haitian thing. This is a motherfucking world thing.
Yep.
Right? This is a world thing. So, and then the blood and the warriors that came from that section of the island, the spirit of those motherfuckers that live in us right now is what's happening right now. And the reason why a lot of shit was on the low, I know for a fact, because a lot of Haitians, it's like we royalty as fuck. You know what I'm saying? We kings, we came from royalty, and we came from royalty.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, we ain't out here trying to expose ourselves. And now it's like time for everybody to know, like we are here. Like, the spirit is here. The energy of take back our fucking freedom is here. Like, the same shit that we did back then in 1804 is happening now.
But I think that's, and I say this all the time, I think the bad luck that Haiti goes through is not bad luck. That's
No, it's purpose.
Yeah, they're purposely making you see that, oh, you thought you could deal without white supremacy and white colonialism? This is what you do when you go against white supremacy. And they're making Haiti, they're destroying the
it's
island.
that too, but at the same time, the island is precious, man. The island is golden, man. The island was the richest island on the Western Hemisphere back then, the richest, because we had all the goods, and we still do. So they want that. You know what I'm saying? So what they do to your hood now, like when they want to move into your hood, what they do? They trash the hood up, they buy all the fucking property, they let them shits go rotten, and then they come in and try to save it and try to rebuild it, and then move their people in. So what they doing in Haiti, they just trying to rot the island enough so they could come in and try to act like they rebuilding it, and then in rebuilding, they take over our resources. But man, fuck them niggas. This shit ain't happening.
Heard you.
And
that's how we gonna end this motherfucker right here. Uncut, let them know how to follow you and be a part of everything you're doing, my guy.
Well, please, man, protectyourheart.com is like the community website. It's like a Facebook. You go and join us, and we're doing this meditation shit every Sunday. I got Sunday service every Sunday where we do a brunch, where we do meditation, we do a panel, and we eat. Is over there at Space 71X. That's in Brooklyn. They got some good-ass food. Come through on Sunday. Come through tomorrow, man. Come through and vibe with me tomorrow. And we're going to have a panel about, what is God to y'all? You know what I'm saying? What's the energy of God? You know what I'm saying? Everybody talking God. A child is God, right? So, like, let's start talking about that. So, check me out. Uncut Art is UNCUTT. That's my IG. And check the website. Peace.
That's how we end it. This guy was a whole vibe. It's the sit down, and we out. Come and catch the vibe. Welcome to Easy Weekend.
It's Easy Weekends. Cats can't see me.